Hi, I'm Dr. Bobb Robinson, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about placement as it relates to singing. Now, when we talk about placing the voice, we're talking about focusing your sound into a specific area of your face or the inside of your mouth or your neck. We'll get to all of this in a minute. And the reason we do this is to create a more focused sound, perhaps more volume, and just a better, more pleasing sound for your audience. Now, my colleagues have shared videos talking about breath management and posture and relaxation, so you probably already know that your sound is carried on your breath. And as the air passes through your vocal folds, it spends a little time moving around inside here, vibrating and resonating around before it exits your mouth. And with very little effort, you can direct this air to different areas inside there for different styles and effects. So let's pretend that this is a side view of the inside of your mouth, right? So your teeth and lips are here, the roof of your mouth, back of your throat. So the air is moving up, it comes through and vibrates your vocal cords, your vocal folds, and moves into what we call the pharynx, which is the space right above your vocal folds, the very back of your throat. We'll talk about that in a minute. The next place it comes to is your soft palate. The soft palate is the very top of the back of your throat. I think I described that correctly. So your soft palate can raise and lower, right? That's a good thing. When it's raised, it blocks the air from going up into your nasal passages. We don't want that because if your soft palate is low, you get a very nasal sound like that. So when we're speaking professionally or singing especially, we want the soft palate raised because we want all of that air, all of that tone to stay inside our vocal cavity before it comes out. Next up is your hard palate, which is this hard surface right behind your teeth. You can't do anything about that. It's locked in place. That's fine because we also need some hard surfaces for the sound to resonate off of. Your teeth and your lips finally is sort of your last chance to affect the sound before it comes out as a beautiful tone for your audience. Now the word place is a little misleading because you can visualize all of this happening, you can feel sensations, but you can't literally place the tone anywhere. It's just a common word that we use as voice teachers. It's not entirely a bad thing. What we really want is for you to just explore the sensations, explore what you feel, so that you can learn how to get the most resonant tone possible from your singing voice. You may have heard people talking about singing in the mask, and this is sometimes described as this area like if you were wearing a superhero mask, right? This area sort of your cheekbones and up above your eyebrows. You can usually feel vibrations here when you're doing all of this correctly. The easiest way to test this out and to try and feel something is just very simply to hum. So with your lips together, your teeth apart, just hum. When I do that, I feel a lot of vibration right here on my lips. I feel a little bit sort of up here right behind my teeth. The trick then is to maintain that feeling when you move to a vowel. So we'll try E. E is a very good vowel to try this out on because it's a very forward vowel and is usually going to naturally produce these sensations. So, me. Mission accomplished. I still felt those vibrations. Even trickier is to continue feeling them when you go to a more open vowel, right? So, not quite as vibratey as I was feeling on the E, but it's still there. I still am confident that that's the sound I want to produce. So, singing in the mask, you'll hear that a lot. That's what they're talking about. Any kind of front sensation that you're feeling. It might not be where I feel it, right? We're all different. You might feel it more in your cheeks. You might feel it even more in your forehead. That's fine. If you feel anything up here, that's probably a good sign. Now, there are variations where you will feel vibrations, and you can even change consciously where you're feeling things. I'm going to show you a little trick here. Put your thumb right here on the bottom of your chin and your index finger. You can do this with both hands, either hand, it doesn't matter. So we're going to start with our thumb here and our finger right beside our nose. And we're going to try an ooh vowel. And I want you to very consciously try to aim your voice right where your finger is. Okay? You can do this with me, or you can just watch me do it. You might have something to laugh about later. So, index finger is right here behind your nose, and I'm going to sing an ooh. And in theory, this sound should be pretty brilliant and bright or forward. Oh. So you can see what you think. I felt a lot of activity right here, so I'm fairly certain I'm doing what I set out to do. Now we're going to move it back here right to my cheekbone and try to aim the sound here. Oh. You might hear a slight difference in the tone there. I certainly feel a difference. I felt a different vibratory pattern. Move it even further back. I'm going to put it right in front of my ear right here. Oh. Again, different. It's sounding different to me inside my head, at least. And it's feeling different to me inside my head. Right behind my ear. Oh. And finally, right alongside my neck, sort of even with my jawline. Oh. Now that feels very different to me than this did up here, as it should. You can be your own judge about which sound you liked best. I can tell you the sound that sounded best to me inside my head was this one. But guess what? That's probably not the sound I want to present to the public. It might sound fine, but I can tell you it feels very different to me. To be more specific, that was a very tense production that I made. The back of my tongue was very tense to produce that sound. Some tension here in my throat. We don't want any tension, right? Because it's going to cause problems down the line. Also, it just makes you work a lot harder to get the same sound. So I'm going to go in reverse order now and tell you what I'm feeling. Oh, very tense tongue. Oh, a little less tense. Oh, oh, oh. Okay, this here at my nose was also a little tense in a different way, but it was still had to do with my tongue. My tongue was sort of forcing that sound forward. So I'm going to eliminate number 1. I'm going to eliminate number 5. For me, the most relaxed sound, in other words, the most open throat, relaxed tongue, access to low breath, was one of these two, number 2 or number 3. That's not to say I would never use any of those, but if I'm run-of-the-mill singing in choir or singing some solo repertoire, I probably want the most relaxed production I can get, right? So I'm going to stick, for me again, I know that number 2 and number 3 is where I should be envisioning my sound going. Again, I stress, this is going to be different for everybody. You talk to your friends and say, hey, where do you sound great, where do you feel that? And they'll say, I feel it up here at the top of my head, outside my body. Fine, we're all going to feel it in a different place. As long as you know that feeling it up here outside of your body is the most relaxed, most pleasing sound you can make. Now, I said earlier, what sounded great to me inside my head was this number 5, right? Don't trust what you hear, because what you hear inside your head is very different from what we hear out here. And we're the ones who bought the ticket to hear you sing, right? So we want you to sing for us. So if you can't trust what you hear inside your head, how do you know? Well, luckily, we all carry these little things in our pockets with a little voice memo app, And you can try this at home. Just say, here's me singing with nose resonance. Take 1, take 2, take 3, etc., etc. Just try it. See which one you like best. If you don't trust yourself enough, your director will tell you. Your voice teacher will tell you. You'll make a sound that's fantastic and we will say, that's fantastic. Do that again. And just pay attention. When someone tells you you sound great, pay attention to how it feels. Pay attention to what your tongue is doing, to what your throat is doing, to how that breath worked. And eventually you'll start to learn and your muscles will learn, and then you won't have to think about it so much. You might have gotten all the way to the end of this video. You might have tried all these tricks and you're gonna say, I don't hear a difference. I don't feel a difference. It all sounds and feels the same to me. That's okay. You're not the first or the last person to say that. Again, totally fine. Use your technology, use your resources, pull a friend into a room and say, I'm gonna sing this 3 different ways. Tell me which one sounds the best. Again, trust your feelings. If all of that fails you, guess what? Your voice knows what to do. If you have an open throat, if you have a relaxed tongue, neck, shoulders, if you have low air moving back and forth, your voice knows what to do. Set it up and it'll work. Think of a baby. If you babysit or if you have younger siblings or cousins, a baby opens its mouth and screams, and it's the loudest sound in the world, right? It could pierce through a steel door. The baby's not thinking about where they're placing their voice, nor are they hurting themselves when they produce that sound. They take a breath and they go. And you can do the same thing. Just trust yourself. Trust all the things that your voice teacher and your directors are telling you, and eventually you'll figure out how it works. All right, if you have any questions, you can email me, you can talk to your director, you can talk to a voice teacher. Keep singing. Bye.